I had to finish Kushi and I had to shoot for Citadel, which is extremely physical. There's a lot of action involved. So it was very strenuous. Many calls were made to you in the middle of shoot. Alkesh, what to do? She's having a spasm. She's cramping.
I remember this one particular incident where you had to give like an action sequence.
Oh God. And I passed out.
And you had a head concussion.
I had a concussion, yeah.
And the person who was training you there, he was not very helpful in relaying the information. Oh God, those were crazy times. Okay, so now that we have discussed about all the technical aspects and understood what autoimmunity is, I think people will find immense value in understanding what your experience with regard to the autoimmune disorder that you are going through has been. Because I believe there are many people who are on the same boat, and hearing out your story and knowing what all you have gone through, what all you have done, and how is it now, is going to be of immense value of them, and they're going to draw a lot of strength from it.
Well, I hope this is helpful. I think when I first heard about the diagnosis, it was hard, both mentally and physically. It was hard because my goals, I had big goals, and I'm a go-getter. I fix on a goal and I just do everything in my capacity to make sure I achieve that goal. So this was a pause.
Yeah.
And I refused to actually accept it. I kept telling my, I remember I was shooting at that point of time, I was filming, and I kept telling them, I'm coming back in a week.
Okay.
I'm coming back in a week, and I assumed like any other condition, you take pills for a week and then you're better and then you go back to work, right? Like, come on. I haven't never heard about this from anyone I know. Nobody, it's not in my genes. So nobody I know has experienced this. And I refused to believe it. I kept telling them that I'm coming back in a week and just, okay, it's not getting better this week, maybe next week. So it was hard to really accept it at first. And then the question that I kept asking myself was, why me? Because I've really been good and sincere with everything I do. It just didn't seem fair. Right? So I think that most people will ask that question as, why me? And then that question slowly transitioned to a feeling of guilt. And this really stuck with me for a while. Did I not do enough? Did I not prioritize myself and my health? And I always put work, career, external goals, relationships before my health and myself. So that was a difficult period where it was just extreme guilt that I didn't do enough to look after myself. But after having been on this journey, okay, so now it's this June, it will be 2 years.
Wow.
Gosh, I can't even believe I survived 2 years. Okay, 1.5 years. That I have a lot more mental clarity now. I do believe, honestly, that the universe presents us with roadblocks to redirect us to the path that was meant for us. And sometimes the bigger the roadblocks, the bigger the sense of purpose. And for anyone who's going through a really difficult situation, whether it is in their with their health or their personal life, I would say from experience that days can get really dark. You can reach a really dark place in your life, but I promise you that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So just hang in there. I know it's difficult. I know that's not what you want to hear. People around me did not know what to tell me, because you can comfort someone for a month or two, but how do you comfort someone for 1.5 years, right?
So
it gets, and it almost, they knew that every time they ask me, how are you? I'm like, how are you means what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, but it has taught me a lot. The mental space that I am in is very, very different from where I started out.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Sam. And I'm really glad that you were able to reframe your perspective and look at the positive side of it. And I know a disorder like this can get really tough at times. And once the realization set in, and once you realize, this is what it is and we have to do something about it, what were our initial steps that we took in order to combat this situation? How did it look like from a medical perspective, and how you have to take care of yourself, and what did your day-to-day back then look like?
Well, initially, it was just a lot of medication.
Yeah.
A lot of steroids, IVIG every month, the works. I went through the traditional medicine route for a year. Heavy dose medications. But I realized that after a year, I wasn't feeling much better. I know, this is again disclaimer, the traditional medicine route has worked wonders for many, many people. This is just my personal experience, and it is not medical advice of any sort. If you value my perception, then please you go ahead and research further into the subject and develop a deeper understanding, and please do not take any actionable steps without consulting a wellness professional. So I would like to say that, because so after 1 year of the traditional medicine route, I wasn't feeling much better, and again it just like hit like a roadblock, and I felt quite hopeless, because I felt like, okay, it almost hit me like, am I going to live with this forever?
Yeah.
But then I'm the fighting kind.
Yeah. True.
I'm the fighting kind.
Yeah.
If, like I said before, if I have a purpose, and if I have a goal, and if I have to achieve it, I will put all my energy, all my time into finding a solution for that problem and achieving that goal. So I think it was time for me to re-establish goals and focus on health, and I knew that it was going to take time. Then I understood that this was going to take time, and it involved me putting all my effort and time into trying to go into remission. So taking a break wasn't really easy, because I worked for 13 years without a break. I've had 5 films released in a year, I think, at one point of time.
Wow.
So taking a break wasn't really an easy choice to make, but in hindsight, it was the best decision that I did. And I remember telling you that I'm going to take a break, and you were extremely happy to hear that. I'm happy I took the break, because it has helped me tremendously.
I still remember the conversation we had on the phone call, and you were like, I'm taking a break for a year, I'm not going to work, and I'm going to dedicate this entire time to getting my health back on track. I was really impressed back then, and I thought like you were one of the bravest person that I have known, because there is a lot to put at stake, especially with the
like you said, the public defines success as external achievements, right? And I probably defined my success in the same way.
And for you, a lot of the things were at stake, a lot more than what it would be for a regular individual. But when I heard that choice of yours, I was really happy, and I instinctively knew this was the right way to go about it. And I was very much certain that the decision that you have taken, this is going to, even though you might not be 100% on board right now with that, but this is something.
And I'm saying that there are hard days even now. I'm not saying that everything has magically evolved into the best version of myself. No, that's not true. I still struggle. I still have bad days. I still have flare-ups. I still struggle with them. But I'm a lot more relaxed and I have a lot more mental clarity, and I'm able to handle situations in a much more calmer and healthy way.
So once you decided to take that break and you alter
I
the
altered a lot
course
of things, yeah.
we took in order to reach to the place where we are at right now, what does the other way of approaching the remission look like for you, and how was that entire experience like?
I believe just starting with one practice is just a step in the right direction, and I feel a lot more better going the functional route than I did taking all of those steroids. And also I had to shoot at that point of time, so it was a lot of stress on my body, on my mind as well. Just feeling that I'm in a safe space to heal has helped my healing a lot.
Yeah, I remember the times when you had difficulties, for a lack of better term, while shooting, and that was a really stressful time to witness from a third person's perspective.
Yeah,
I
you
can hardly
remember?
imagine what it could be being in that position, going through it.
Yeah, I remember that. It's I had to shoot for I had to finish Kushi, and I had to shoot for Citadel, which is extremely physical. There's a lot of action involved. There's a lot of and my directors are people who like single long shots and they don't like cuts. So it was very strenuous, and I was on a lot of medication, and I really didn't think that I could complete shooting for these projects, but now I'm so happy that I have, and I'm really looking forward to the release of Citadel, because for me it's already a victory, because I think we know what it meant to actually complete shooting for that. Many calls were made to you in the middle of shoot. Alkesh, what to do? She's having a spasm. She's cramping. So I think that it was difficult, but I feel very proud.
Yeah, and you should be.
And I think that everyone who's going through something with their health should feel very, very proud of themselves for just making it through the day. Right? Because it's not easy, and you're doing a wonderful job.
Talking about phone calls, I remember this one particular incident where you had to give like an action sequence.
Oh God. And I passed out.
And you had a head concussion.
I had a concussion,
And the person who was training you there, he was not very helpful in relaying the information. Oh God, those were crazy times.
Yes.
And also during this time, you traveled and explored a lot. So how has that experience been? Like, what are the places that you have been to? What are the things that you have learned?
Yeah, it's so amazing that, to just be able to go to all of the places that you dreamed of as a child. I really wanted to go to Austria to visit the place where Sound of Music was shot. That was like a childhood dream, and I got to do that. I think that I have altered a little my definition of success. My definition of success was blockbuster after blockbuster. Blockbuster, I want a bigger blockbuster. I want a bigger blockbuster. It was, and then I don't even know what that meant, to be honest. What does that even mean? So I think that my definition of success has changed a little after this experience, and in a good way.
Really nice to know that. And now we have taken the journey. Now we are where we are. What is the one thing or two things that you would think you would do differently now, and you would tell the audiences is your most valuable takeaway, and something that they should incorporate in their life?
I think that for a very long time, even as a child, I have been very hard on myself.
Okay.
I have had very high expectations of myself, and nothing I did was ever good enough. My zeal and my motivation came from a place that wasn't really positive. My motivation and came from a space that was from fear.
Yeah.
Fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, fear. It was just, I operated from a space of fear. And I do believe that a lot of us operate from that space of fear, just the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough. And when there was success, there was the fear of it going, of losing it. And automatically the dopamine hit from the success was not enough. The baseline increased, so you wanted something bigger and something better, because you weren't really fixing, because I wasn't really fixing the actual problem that stop operating from fear. So I think that is something that all of us can fix. For example, how I fixed that was, when I wake up every day is when I'm most anxious, right?
Yeah.
And during this phase, I would wake up at 3 a.m., and then slowly at 2 a.m., at 1 a.m. And it was really sad, because I would make distress calls to my friends and be like, I can't sleep, I'm scared. The anxiety was at an all-time high. Now, how I fixed this was, the moment I wake up, I start writing a journal of gratitude. Like immediately, as soon as I wake up from my bed, I start writing. Okay, I do it digitally on an app, which is not really a great thing. I would, if someone wants to try this, I would advise using a paper and pen. But I would start writing. Today, I might not feel, like my body might not feel great, but I respect that feeling, and I am happy that my body will look after itself, will heal. I just started writing positive affirmations.
Yeah.
And I realized that when I start writing it, the anxiety is high, but somehow when I end that journal, there's a lot less anxiety.
Yeah.
And practicing this every day has reduced to a great extent that morning anxiety for me. Yeah, so this is something that anyone can try. And if you're someone who gets stressed in the morning about the day, about your life, about work, this is something that you can practice. That's what you asked for, 2 things, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, another thing that I have learned is patience. Is patience. Because we are so conditioned to getting an instant hit, instant rush, instant, everything is instant.
Yeah.
And so I've really taught myself to be patient.
Yeah.
And I think with that came a lot of resilience. I'm more resilient than I have ever been. The dependency on other people and other devices, like to help me or calm me down or make me happy, has almost diminished. My friends do ask me, you don't call us any, you don't stress call, or you don't speak about your inflammation or pain that much anymore. Is somehow because suddenly that I have the answers and I can deal with it.
Yeah.
And if you make yourself your best friend, somehow you really become quite resilient.
Yeah.
And I think that resilience is something that is going to really stick with me for a while.
Yeah.
And I think I've transformed into another person with this resilience.
Yeah. So in in a way you feel that you are more self-reliant and complete as a person now
Right.
than what you were before. And another really important point that you mentioned was that you didn't celebrate your wins
Yes.
back then,
Right.
and you celebrate your wins much more now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever have made a statement that said I am proud of myself. You can see any interview, you can hear me speak anywhere, it's available online. You will never
Yeah.
hear me say I am proud of myself. You will always hear me give credit for my success to other people,
Yeah.
to other events, to things around, situations around me. I have never given myself credit for anything.
Yeah.
And I think that all of us should be very, very proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if you are not proud of yourself, why do you expect others to feel that about
Yeah.
you, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever you want others to feel about you, you start feeling it first yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like a shrink right now. Why are you making me a shrink?
No, these all are valuable insights, and what you ended this statement with, that's also the law of universe. If you want to receive something,
Right.
you should feel that you are deserving enough to receive that first.
Right.
Until you do not feel that, you are never going to receive it. And just because you're not receiving it, you will feel that you are not deserving.
Right.
And the cycle
vicious
keeps
cycle.
going on. Yeah. So thank you for sharing all of those. Those were amazing insights, and I'm pretty sure that all the people who are finding themselves in the same boat as you are or you were will derive immense value from this. And having a companion along with them in this journey somehow alleviates you from the situation that you're in. And I think this conversation is going to do the exact same thing for them too.
Thank you. And with this, we end the topic on autoimmunity. Thank you, Alkesh, for your valuable
Welcome.
insights. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you guys can make little changes in your everyday life. And well, we also would like to hear what you thought about it. And please be kind in the comments. We will be reading, and any topics that you want us to discuss, that would be helpful as well. Looking forward to more interesting topics and sharing and learning.
Yeah.